Alright, so this is our second PowerPoint activity in which we are going to review the skills that we learned from the last lesson and also learn at least one new skill. And we're going to go ahead and get started. Now, I'm actually looking at my OneDrive screen because I've had some students that tell me that for some reason if they go to office.com that they don't see all of their apps for some reason. But if you can get to your OneDrive, you can come over here and click the New button and then click PowerPoint Presentation, and then you do that and you'll still be able to do this. Now the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and I want to change the file name and make the file name what this should be. And I am using the same workbook that I used for the last lesson, so I'm just going to name this PPT 2, How to Detail a Car. And you're going to need to make sure that, and it should be, you're going to be saving this to your OneDrive folder location. So I just want to hit enter. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is I want to come over here on my computer, and I've got this button that I can click for single line ribbon. I do not want a single line ribbon. I want to see the whole thing. So when I do that, it gives me this message. I'm going to switch back to the classic ribbon. That way I'll see all of the buttons that are available to me. When I do that, notice that the file name is still the same, and then we've got more of the buttons available to us. So go ahead and do that if you need to do so. Alright, so again, my disclaimer for this lesson is that I am typically used to teaching these lessons on the desktop version, and as I go through and complete this activity, I'm probably going to run into some things that I cannot do in the online version that I'm used to. So just don't be surprised if even I look like that I'm struggling a little bit, because I just don't know all of the things that the online version cannot do just yet. Alright, so what we're going to do is this first slide, what we're going to do is we're going to see if we have got a layout that looks, basically it's going to look like it's got three of these boxes on here. So let me just take a look and see if there's one that looks something like the workbook that I'm working in, and I do not see anything that looks anything like that, and that's okay. So what we're going to do is I want to click cancel, and what I want to do is I actually want to drag this up a little bit. And then I think what I want to do next is I just want to make a copy of either one of these. So I want to click it, and I've got it selected, and I want to right click with my mouse and go to copy. And then what I want to do is paste. So I want to right click, and now here it says browser can't access the clipboard, so I have to use the keyboard shortcut. So to paste on this, in this instance, I have to use Control V. So I'm going to hit Control V on my keyboard, and I should have another, actually I've got to go and recopy, so I'm going to hit Control C first on one of these, then I want to click off of it, then I want to hit Control V, and so it's looking like in this case that it's not working the way that I expected it to. And again, this is one of the differences between the online version, so that's perfectly okay. So what I want to do is drag this up a little bit higher, and then I want to resize this one a little bit and drag it down below. Alright, and what we're going to end up doing is we're going to put some text up here at the top, and the text that we're going to put in here is called, and again, my disclaimer for this, the workbook that this is coming out of is a little bit cheesy, I have to admit, but I'm just going to go for it. The text is brought to you by Jazz My Wheels. Okay, So the first thing I want to check for is I want to see if word art is an option. And again, I don't think it is. I do not see a word art on here. So what I want to do is come over here, tell me what you want to do. I want to click in that, type in word art, and then search. And because it says looking for word art, it's telling me to use a desktop version of Microsoft PowerPoint. So that's not in there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to have to use the text, and I'm going to turn on my caps lock and type in brought to you by Jazz My Wheels. Okay, and then I'm going to resize this a little bit. I want to make it bigger. And then what I want to do is, I think I at least want to put Jazz My Wheels so those words are on the same line. And I want to hold down, actually I just want to hit the enter key in front of Jazz, and then that'll make sure everything is on the same line. And then down here at the bottom we want to type in the text. And with this one we're going to take off the caps lock, and we're going to type in how to detail your car. Okay, and we'll come back to this and we'll do a little bit of the formatting and see exactly what we can do with this text. Now make note that for the moment we have a white background with black text. Just keep that thought in the back of your mind for a little bit. And I was wanting to see what was under quick styles. Didn't find what I was looking for. The next thing we want to do though is let's go ahead. There's an image that's supposed to go on this slide. So what we want to do is, I've already got this website open, and this is the website that goes with this textbook or the workbook. And basically these down here, it's the officespecialist.com. So if you were to go to the officespecialist.com, down here if you were to click student, here are the different files that go with the different lessons in this textbook. So we're doing Jazz My Wheels. So if you click on that, and then down here you've got logos, what you're going to need to do is to download this logo, jazzmywheels.jpg. Now depending upon what device you're doing this on, it's going to look a little bit different. So what I want to do, I'm using a Windows computer. If you're doing this on a Chromebook, downloading and saving this file is going to look a little bit different. I'm going to make sure that I save mine to my downloads folder, and where you're just going to have to make sure that you're careful that when you download this that you are aware of where you're saving this to, because you can be using so many different devices. And again, because I'm using this on an actual Windows 10 computer, I can't simulate what it would look like on a Mac, nor can I simulate what it would look like on a Chromebook. So I'm going to put it in my downloads folder, and because I'm using Google Chrome browser, I can see it over here. And what I want to do now is I'm going to come back here and I want to insert that image. So I want to go to insert, and I want to go to pictures, and because I put it on my downloads, I have to select this device. And so now I want to click choose file, and I have to look at my downloads folder over here, and then here's the image that I just downloaded. I want to click open, then insert, and it's going to put that image right here, and we could resize that. Now again, I'm being kind of flexible on what I want to do with this, and it looks like one of the things that's on the online version that quite frankly I'm not familiar with is we have this designer option over here, which just popped up on my computer, that looks pretty cool. And again, this is not going to go exactly the way that I would intend it to go if we were using the desktop version. I kind of like this one right here. I want to select this first option right here, and notice how the text automatically changes. And I mean, I really like this design, but now I want to do some other things with this. I want to click on this text box, and I want to make this text box a little bit wider. That way the word by will be on the same line with brought to you by. And so you see how this gets smaller, and I want to move this up a little bit. And I think now what I want to do is I want to take all of this text and I want to select it, and I want to align this in the center. So if I go under the Home tab, and here's my Center Align button, I click that, then all that text is center aligned. And then I think I want to do the same thing with this text down here. I want to center align it, but I also want to take this and I want to drag this to the right until I see that red line that's going to go up, and it'll be straight through the middle end of this text box, and then it'll let me know that this is centered. And I don't see, well, okay, so I'm not going to get the center one, I'm going to get the one, I'm going to get it on the edge. So if you see this red line over here, I'm going to just leave that right here, but then if I come up and then I click on this one, what that red line means is that that red line is aligned to another element on this slide. So I can move this one back over to the right or to the left a little bit, and then if I click off of this, it still looks pretty good, and it still looks like it's vertically centered. And you know, I'm pretty happy with this, and I don't necessarily care which one of these that you use. I do like this designer feature. I think that is new. I definitely don't remember something like that in the desktop version, but I need to look at that, quite frankly. Alright, so that's going to be it for this first slide. So now what I want to do is I want to go to slide 2, so I want to click the new slide button up here, and it's going to ask us what content layout do we want, and we want the standard title and content layout. So I want to click add slide, and then what I want to do is I want to come over here and I want to click in here, and I want to type in tools of the trade. And I turned my caps lock on out of habit, but it could be that, and this is something that we haven't covered yet, that this particular layout, a title holder on this particular slide design would be in all caps anyway. So anyway, I'm going to come down here, and we want bullet items. So what we're going to do is, if you had a car detailing business, these are some tools of the trade that you might want. So I'm going to put in vacuum cleaner, then I want to hit enter, and then a variety of rags and various sizes of small brushes and plastic spray bottles. Alright, so then what I can do is I'm going to come over here and click outside of this, and it looks like this button right here, if I click it, it gives you an option to communicate visually with relevant smart art, and let's just keep that in mind for right now. But if you come over here and look at tools of the trade, here are some different options that are available to you, and some of these look pretty cool. And again, you know, we're kind of going against what is in the textbook, and that's fine. So what we want to do is I'm going to find one of these that kind of goes along with the title slide layout that we selected. And what I want to do is I want to pick, let's see here, well, I think I want to go with this one right here. And you can still come in here and select this text, and you can make it bigger. Now, one of the things I really haven't talked about yet is if you were given a presentation to someone about, you know, trying to start a auto detailing business, you would want to make sure that the text was big enough to be read. And depending upon a lot of things, including the size and the layout of the room, you want to use a font size. I chose 36 in this particular case. The header up here, the text in the header box is size 44. So again, if we were viewing this, that would probably be, again, if it's a small room, that font size would be fine. It also depends on the size of the monitor in which this is being viewed. So anyway, so the next thing we want to do is we want to create another slide. So we want to go to a new slide, click that. And then what we want to do is up here, we want title and content again. We're going to click add slide. So I'm going to come up here, I'm going to type in continued. I'm going to turn my caps lock on. And I think what I want to do is in front of that, I want to put 3 dots to indicate that this continued from the previous slide. And then I want to come down here, and then I want to type in some more text. So I'm going to type in canned. I'm going to turn off my caps lock. Canned air, which is used on computer keyboards. Then hit enter, then upholstery or leather cleaner. Hit enter. I got a misspelled word, we'll take care of that. Carpet stain cleaner, all purpose cleaner, surface protector for vinyl, leather surfaces. Okay, so now we want to come over here again, and we want to go under designer, and because we've already used this one on a presentation, you typically don't want to go and have too much. I mean, you wouldn't want to use this layout, this design on this slide, and then use this one on this slide, and then this one. So we just want to use this same layout. And again, what I want to do is I want to click in here. I've got a misspelled word, so I'm going to right click on top of it. Remember, the red squiggly line means that that word as spelled is not recognized in the dictionary. So then I click on it, and it changes it to the correct spelling. So I want to come back again, and I want to change this to size 36, which is the same size of the text on the previous slide. So you go up under the home group and go under the font size and select 36. And one thing you might want to do here, you might want to make this a little bit wider. That way all of the text flows onto one line, hopefully, and that makes it look a little bit better. And you see that the font size is still 36, and then we're going to leave this up here at 44. So then the next thing that we're going to do is put in another new slide. And again, we're going to use title and content. Come up here, type in detailing the interior. And of course, I hit my caps lock on my keyboard. Now here I want to put in, let's see here, vacuum and remove stains. And of course, you can pause these videos at any time, and you can figure out by now. We'll come over here and select this same design for this slide, and we want to make this text size 36. And I'm going to drag this back to the left a little bit. Now we've got all of this text on one line, makes it look a lot better. Alright, so we're going to put in another slide. So again, we've got a new slide, title and content layout. And again, we're going to come up here and type in 3 dots and then continued, and I'm going to turn on my caps lock. Then I want to come down here. Now here I want to type in inside Windows. Okay, so again, you know that I want to come over here and apply this design to this slide, and you know I'm going to change this to size 36. And yes, we are doing a bunch of typing so far, but we will be making some additional changes to this document soon. Alright, now this one, it's going to be kind of hard to get all of this text to appear on one line the way we did previously, and that's perfectly okay. The thing is, there's a rule when dealing with PowerPoints, the rule of 7 by 7, where basically you typically don't want more than 7 lines of text on a slide, and then you don't want more than 7 words on an individual line. So if you do that, that means if your font is about size 36, it's going to be hard to go beyond that 7 by 7 rule, because you don't want too much on a slide. Alright, so now we are ready for slide 6. So I've got a new slide, title and content layout. And I don't think at this point I'm going to narrate this unless I have to. I'm just going to type it. Oh, and by the way, we'll say this. You wouldn't want to wash a brand new car with a brand new paint job. You don't want to use dish soap, because that strips the wax off. Okay. Alright, so again on this one, change the design, change the font, make the text box a little bit wider, and I'm moving this, by the way, so that the lower right corner of this text box, when it hits the the circle down here, that's about where I stop. And again, the font is size 36, and it's okay that this text down here is outside the text box. The main thing is you would want to make sure that none of the text and none of the buttons, you would want to make sure that that is not touching this white border. Okay. Now, so a couple other things that I would do to make this look better. I would click up here, and because this text is inside of parentheses, I think it's Shift. I'm gonna hold down the Shift key on the keyboard and hit Enter. And what that does is I've got enough space on this line below that I can get all of that text on one line, and it looks better. Again, because it's inside parentheses, it doesn't look all that good if part of the parenthesis text is up here and the rest of it's down here. So again, I held down Shift and hit Enter to put in a paragraph break, or a line break, not a paragraph break, but a line break. Alright, so another new slide. Again, I'm not going to narrate this. This word right here is called chamois, kind of like S-H-A-M-M-Y. That's how that's pronounced. Now, it says here to use a newspaper to clean windows and mirrors. That doesn't even make sense to me. I've got a friend that does own a very successful car detailing business, and something tells me that is not the way you do it. So just because that personally bothers me, I want to delete this last one. I don't know why in the world you would use, but besides, people hardly ever get newspapers anymore. So again, what I want to do is I want to come over here, find that same design. I want to click on it, repeat the process. Try to be consistent with everything. And again, you know, if you can't get all the text to fit on one line, that's perfectly fine. It's just you don't want too much on the overall slide. Alright, so now we're going to do another new slide. And let's see here. Now, what we're going to do here, let's see here. On this one, we actually want to change the layout. On this one, we don't need a heading, we just need body text. So we could come up here and click this layout tab, and what we want to do is to come over here and see what we've got. Title slide, title only, compare. Okay, so we really don't have one with the layout that's mentioned in this. So what I want to do is I want to use the same title and content, but I just want to delete this. So I select it by clicking on it and hit the delete key on my keyboard, and then I want to come down here and I want to turn off the bullets. So turn off the bullets, and then I want to type in some text. Alright, so up here I should have included an R to make your car. So as usual, we're going to come over here, put on this design. And again, we're going to make this font size 36. And make this a little bit bigger. And as you can tell, I'm working outside by the sounds of the airplanes and the dogs that are barking. Alright. Alright, so the next thing we want to do here is we want to add transitions to this presentation as well, like we did our previous lesson. And what I want to do is over here we've got the preview pane for all of the slides, and I want to click on this last slide, slide 8, and I want to move up, and I want to hold down my shift key on the keyboard and click on the first one, and that will select all 8 of these slides. Now, yeah, there's other ways that you can do this, but that's just the method I'm going to use. And then I want to come up here and I want to click the transitions tab, and again, you've got all these different transitions on here that you can pick from, and I'm not going to require that you use a particular one just to see what these are like. I want to use this one called, I think, Crush, just because I want to see what it looks like. And so what I want to do now is I want to preview this, and to preview this I would go under View, click the View tab, and then I want to click from beginning, and let's just see what this looks like so far. So you see what it looks like, and it looks like Crush is kind of looks like you're crushing up a piece of paper. And then to get it to go to the next slide, I would have to either click the mouse, or should be able to I'm trying to hit enter again on my keyboard. That's something I'm used to doing on the desktop version of this, and it's not working, so it's looking like I have to do this. Alright, and you see how all of the text on all the slides, how it comes in at once. Okay, so there's one more change we want to make to these slides. So I want to hit the escape key on the keyboard to get out of this, and I actually now want to add a animation to slides 2 through 7. So what we're going to do is come over here, click on slide 2, and then scroll down, and I want to hold down the shift key on the keyboard and hit click on slide 7, so that we have only these slides selected, and we want to add a animation. And an animation, this is what is new. An animation is when each paragraph comes in individually instead of them all coming in at once. Now, again, I'm used to doing this in the desktop version, so I told you to select all of these, and it looks like you can only do this one at a time. So I actually want to go back and click on, actually you have to select these, if I remember. Yes, you have to select these 4 items. And so again, I'm used to doing it on the desktop version. If you come over here and select these 4 paragraphs or these 4 bulleted items, and then you've got this arrow over here that you can click, and you can see all of these different animations that are available to you. And I just want to pick no, I'm not going to pick that one for a reason. Let's see, I'm going to use Fly In. And I have to go to this next slide, and I have to select all of these again with my mouse, and I want to click Fly In, and I just want to repeat the process on this. Now, by the way, keep in mind, because we are saving this to the to our OneDrive, we're using Office Online to do this, and because we gave this a name at the very beginning of the video, everything we're doing to this is automatically being saved, which that's one of the great benefits of using the online version. And by the way, sometimes it's easy to get caught up in transitions and animations. You don't want to have too much transition or too much animation, because that can become distracting from the actual presentation itself. So now what I want to do is, let's go and let's view this again from the beginning. And then I'm going to click my mouse And this time, notice it doesn't take me straight into the text that's on this slide. It's going to bring it in. Now, in this case, it's going to bring it in all at once according to the way that I did it. So I want to go back here and I want to test this because I was expecting these to come in one item at a time. So I want to hit the escape key on my keyboard and let's see if it's a little bit different process for doing a online version of PowerPoint. So again, I do want to select these and I want to go back to animations and let's see here. Okay, so it kind of looks like what I should have done is under Effect Options, I would come down here and select by paragraph on these, and you'll see how this says 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now you can't see the number 1 right there because of this feature that's in the online version. So we're just going to have to go back and select these again, and that's fine, and go under Effect Options, and we want this to come in by paragraph. And again, depending upon the topic of your presentation and how much, if you've got a lot of graphical elements on it and whatnot, you can fix this to come in at different times. And anyway, we want this to come in by paragraph. So now if you were to go in and view this from the beginning, now we didn't add an animation to the first slide, and typically you would not add an animation to the first slide. But now on this second slide, you're going to see how this comes in one line at a time. And we're also assuming on this activity or this lesson that this presentation is going to be given live and in person. The previous activity we did, we assumed it would be like a scrolling kiosk that would just keep rotating. And so this one we're assuming is going to be given live. So you would do things slightly different. Okay, so we're not going to go through and do all the rest of this. The last thing that I was going to show you, I was going to show you something, but this lesson would also calls for adding an action button that would take you back to the first slide. I did look. That is something that you definitely cannot do in the online version. You can insert a hyperlink that would take you to another website. Let me just show you real quick. If you go to insert, then I got to come in here first and just click somewhere. If you click insert hyperlink, you could add text in here and you could have a link that you would type in to a web address or something of that nature. But the desktop version would also give you an option to put in buttons that would take you back to a slide. So again, you would have clickable images. I want to hit cancel on this, and just to show you something else, I want to come back to the first slide again. I want to click on this image right here, and again, notice how the hyperlink option is not available to us. So you cannot turn images into hyperlinks like you can with the desktop version of PowerPoint. So again, for the online version of PowerPoint and Word and Excel for that matter, you're not going to have the ability to do everything you would want to do using the desktop version. But if you had nothing else, this is certainly a good option for a very basic presentation. And if you think you want to make more detailed presentations with a lot more specific graphics and things of that nature, then that's where you would have to do this on the desktop version where those features are available to you. So that is it for this activity, and be sure to correctly submit the link so that this may be evaluated.